Okay, we are looking at learner diversity, and part 3 is about language. We are looking at students who are bilingual or have limited English proficiency. And again, all these areas are having to do with diversity. We are looking at language. Too often we only think of these when we think of diversity. Get on the same page, and these terms seem to be ever changing and evolving. I don't know which one is correct. This is the one that most seem to be using. English language learners, or students who are English language learners, students who are learning English as a second language, English second language learners, but you do not want to use LEP, limited English proficiency. Why not? Because this describes students in terms of what they cannot do. Not a good thing. 6 levels of language ability. Non-English speaking students, monolingual at home, all right? Can't speak at all, one language at home. Limited English speakers, they are fluent in other languages, but limited in English. They speak both fluently, limited in both English and other language. Speaks English fluently, but limited in the other language. Speaks English fluently, but no other language. And these are all different levels of which you will encounter in your classrooms. Some implications, 10 of them for teachers. First of all, know that language acquisition is something the brain naturally does. It does well. So we want to immerse students in the language of the classroom. Our brains naturally pick up language. It's called a language acquisition device, as described by Norm Chomsky. All right? So we create environments where there is rich conversation and rich in stimulation and interaction with other students. The brain will naturally acquire this language. Now, all students learn second languages in different ways and at different paces. There is no such thing as a standard student. All right? So the pace in which English language learners, or students who are English language learners, learn a second language is related to learning styles, level of education, parents' level of education, their experience, their duration in this culture, and their knowledge base, what they have knowledge of. Now, there is a myth that children learn languages easier than adults. This is not quite true, because students are learning new concepts as well as labels for these concepts. Most adults have brains filled with the concepts already. So it's just a matter of putting the labels with the concepts. It may seem like children learn faster than adults. That's because children are more apt to be comfortable with making mistakes. They are more apt to immerse themselves in conversation or in the culture than adults are. So it may seem that way, but it is not the case. Language acquisition, not easier for children. Learning that second language takes time. Students are learning about a new culture as well as the language. Oral fluency can take anywhere from 3 to 5 years. So you need to be patient and provide instruction that promotes English acquisition. Remember, lack of English proficiency does not necessarily indicate a lack of intelligence. Do not be afraid of silence. It is sometimes needed. Students who are English language learners sometimes need to go through periods of silence where they are inputting the language. So allow our students to experience silence. It is okay. Big point, number 6. Isolated drills and flashcards do not provide a meaningful context. Students, all humans, need a context from which to learn any language. So in your classroom, you are providing a rich context, not simply drill and skill of words outside anything meaningful. Number 7, related to context, students and all humans need meaningful interaction with native speakers. This is immediate, it's authentic, and it provides context. So, as a teacher, provide these opportunities for students to interact with other students, not only at recess, but as part of learning. This means cooperative learning groups, literature circles, or other classroom strategies that get them interacting, talking with other students. This is good. And errors are necessary in language acquisition. So expect errors and correct them gently by using modeling. It sometimes indicates progress. Our receptive skills are usually more advanced than our productive skills. So ESL students can understand things, and that sometimes gives you a false sense of where they're at, but cannot always use written or spoken language to convey meaning. Another thing related to this is one's social language, social skills are always more advanced than academic language. They can speak and listen with more receptivity, with more accuracy on the playground than they can academic concepts. So sometimes hearing children on the playground may give you a false sense of their level in an academic setting. So they are a little bit different. And bilingual education is based on the idea that learning content and literacy in one's native language advances or enhances their ability to learn to read and other things. And there is a body of research on this. There are three ways to develop with bilingual education. One is the pull-out, where they are pulled out and given explicit instruction in English in their native language. All right, so they're pulled out into small groups. In and of itself, that's not effective. All right, immersion, where they are immersed in a classroom without any instruction at all. In and of itself, that's not effective. Bilingual education is where they are in a separate classroom, given instruction in their native language, especially in literacy, based on the idea that understanding literacy and learning first enables them to better learn these skills in another language. And the advantage is it does not allow them to fall behind conceptually. If we insisted on just that, students would fall behind conceptually. Sorry, bilingual education has been voted down here in California, so we can't help you anymore. Understand? You'll probably fall behind. Oh well. Think about the purpose of education in America's society, to help all students reach their full potential. That means all students, not just some students.